This video we're going to be taking a look at the Phonejoy Play with an HTC M18. So the Phonejoy Play is basically a gamepad for your Android phone or Android game tablet. It can be used either with the phone in between, or it can be used without the phone, although I wouldn't recommend it that way. So let me start by the controls on this device. The buttons feel really good. They're rubbery kind of. They don't have a clicky feel to them, but they are kind of rubbery. They have a rubber finish to them on the top. The analog nubs are similar to that of what you might find on a PSP, but they're better than that. They're not like the analog sticks on a Moga Pro or an Xbox 360 controller, but they're good enough for what they're supposed to do. They are analog and they're basically nubs. The build quality is good. This stretching mechanic, it's very solidly built. It stretches up to, like, I think 5.5 inches. I think 5 inches or something. I wouldn't recommend a 6-inch phone, and it'll just be weird. Like a 5-inch is okay, or 6-inch too maybe is okay. I think this is almost 6 inches. Um, so this is very solid. The spring mechanic is great. It's not gonna break. I've been using it for like 2 months now, and in this video before I said that you shouldn't use it this way, because I have been using it this way. Before I got this phone, I was using the Phonejoy with my Note 2014 and my Z Ultra, because they both don't fit in, and it was horrible to use. This does not work well. The way if you hold it like this, or even if you put something in between and try to use it like this, it just feels really awkward, and the buttons are slippery. It wasn't designed to be played this way. I mean, you can do it, but it wasn't designed that way. It works with Bluetooth 4.0, and I think it even supports 2.0, so that the connection isn't an issue, but you wouldn't be comfortable using it this way. I certainly didn't. But once I got my HTC One M8, and this is the smallest phone I've had so far, um, this controller really surprised me, and I'm going to tell you why. So first thing is, you can put your phone inside. It has a very secure locking mechanism inside there. Let's see. Alright. Now that it's in there, as you can see, when you put this phone in, it's really secure. It has rubber grips in there on both the side, and it has a stopper. This stopper is, I think it's necessary because the Phonejoy actually curves. When you put this when you put your phone inside, it curves, and there's a reason for that. It's designed that way. When I started using the Phonejoy with this setup, when I found out this curved design was there with the phone, this changed things completely. Like, my handling of the device, the slipperiness, it all went away. I feel much more comfortable using the device, and also this curve thing really pushes the phone kind of forward, so when you're using it, you kind of forget that there are two blocks on the side, and you're more immersed in the game there is. It's much better than a Moga Pro, where you have to keep your device far away. I'm going to get into that in a later video, I think. So this curve really helps, and I would not suggest you use the Phonejoy without this curve kind of shape on it. It just completely changes the experience. So let's get into a game that I can show you. That's Modern Combat 4. Seems to be the most popular one. I would say the main use for this, it's okay for retro games, but for retro games, the issue is that the D-pad is a bit stiff, so I think you would probably want to go with something else. But for other games like first-person shooters and some platformers on the Android, it works completely fine. No issues. There's no delay or lag. As you can see, I'm using the analog nub, and there is no delay at all. And sometimes it detects it as a Moga controller, which is okay because it has all the same functionality. It is HID supported, so the functionality is pretty much the same. And there we go. No lag whatsoever in the controls. It feels solid. And especially if you have tin core or if your phone is rooted, you can pretty much map any game you want. The only downside I would say to this setup is that you cannot do game streaming with apps like Limelight because the analog nubs don't have a click to them. They're just analog nubs. So it's missing two buttons. So game streaming is not practical. You might be able to do it with a few games. I would have loved to do it, but we are where we are. So it feels very solid. It's kind of similar to what the Moga has done with the iPhone, the Moga Ace. I haven't used the Moga Ace, but this certainly feels good. This setup really feels good. You might be wondering if the weight is an issue, and I would say no. There's no issue with the weight. It's pretty light, and you might think, oh, it looks pretty big. It does look a little bit big, but once you're holding it, you're completely focused on this. And once again, I want to go back to the curved design thing, which really makes this special. This design really puts forward the screen instead of keeping the screen backward with something like a Moga Pro or any other controller, basically. And I like that design. And I have really enjoyed using this with the HTC M18, HTC One M8. God, I've really enjoyed it because the speakers, they're facing right at me. They're not covered with my fingers. I don't have an issue with that, and I've really enjoyed it. So in conclusion, I like this device. This one is a little bit faulty. I got a faulty device, but Phonejoy has been really good about it, and they are replacing it. So it's going to be a replacement is going to be on the way, and I really like this product. I'm going to be using this quite a lot. It might replace my Moga, but I'm going to probably do a separate comparison video on that. And the one thing I would like to irritate, oh, try again. The one thing I would like to repeat is that I do not recommend you use it this way because you will have a horrible experience. Not everyone, but especially people with big hands, your fingers are going to slip and you're not going to like it. I actually had a very bad impression in the beginning. But once I used it with the phone, I absolutely loved it. So if you are into Android gaming, if you like first-person shooters, you should definitely check this out. The compatibility might be a bit buggy. I have the Phonejoy app over here. It has quite a lot of games. I haven't tested all of them, but I do know for a fact that some of them have issues. And I will have to check that up of which ones have issues. I did have an issue with Alien versus Predator where the kill button didn't work. And with Neon Shadow, there was an issue where the buttons weren't mapped properly. But those are issues that are, basically inherent to games, Android games, because they might not be designed for this. But most of the games work fine, and as I said, if you have an app like TinCore, you can map pretty much anything you want. So this is the Phonejoy Play, and I hope you like the video. If you like it, go ahead and subscribe. If you dislike it, go ahead and dislike. Thank you for watching.